Hello, and welcome to Go, my favorite sports team. What's wrong?
I was just checking audio.
Welcome to Go. I'm Mark. That's Tyler. Who's that?
Well, that is professional wrestler, comedian, actor, writer, Ryan Nemeth.
Wow, there's so many nouns there. Thanks for having me, guys.
Not as many nouns as I had.
How many you got?
I was director, writer, editor, producer on the #1 movie for a few days. Iron Lung.
Thunder.
Oh, Iron. Yeah. Everyone's talking about Iron Lung.
Yeah, I'm pretty accomplished too. Yeah. But more importantly, I hear you're from Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio, baby.
So we're from the opposite. We're from Cincinnati. I don't know if you knew that.
I just found out, and I was saying I went to Xavier University, so I'm familiar with at least some parts of Cincinnati. Yeah.
Oh, really? You went to Xavier? Oh, no way. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, no, Ohio's a funny place, and so I'm always happy when someone else comes from Ohio. I know that people give Cleveland shit a lot. I've only been up there once, and it wasn't so bad when I went there.
It's a nice place.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It's very similar to Cincinnati.
I know. We just try to shit on Cleveland so people don't pay attention to Cincinnati's problems.
Well, I think because it's colder and because historically, like, it was very industry focused and then the industry's left. And so it had kind of like this emptiness for a little while, which is why the Cleveland tourism video comedy stuff happened.
It's a good video. You can't.
It is. It is very funny. Yeah.
And the river caught on fire. It's all true.
Yeah, that's
on fire. Although the Ohio River probably is pretty close to catching on fire.
Pretty much.
But we don't have to talk about that, except for one more question. I'm going to talk about that. There's a notorious thing where people from Ohio have a tendency to leave Ohio. Do you feel like you had that compulsion growing up that you were like, I gotta get out of here?
Wow, that's a really good question. I've never thought about it in like that succinct way. I guess I've always felt the feeling of like, I gotta go do something in life. I did have a few jobs in Cleveland, after college, and I always felt like this is a temporary thing until I go do whatever this big thing I'm going to do is. And I don't know if you guys had this feeling, or anyone listening, there's like a buzzing in your soul that you don't know where or what it is, but you just got to go find it. And I did have that. I've always had that.
Yeah. And you did find it eventually. So I'm not fully versed on your career. I know you're professional.
I'm not either, man.
I don't know, man.
We're going to learn together.
All of us here are wandering through life trying to find our place, I guess.
On the way over here, I was driving, and like I think I told you over messaging that I spent all week doing this commercial shoot, and then 2 days basically not sleeping, like 16-hour days, like heavy-ass makeup, like... So I'm kind of like in this... on the drive over, I was thinking about my entire life, and I thought, what are we going to talk about here? And maybe we'll hit some things that are like deeper than just like pro wrestling. I don't know, but... It might be a fun one. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I hope for, because, usually there's like the surface level of where you end up, and then there's that drive of why you started doing it. And that's what really interests me. So what was it about growing up in boring, terrible, on-fire Cleveland that made you want to?
No, I love Cleveland. I really do love Cleveland.
We love Cleveland.
In fact, I love it more the more that time goes on, the more I long to be back there. And I've been going to visit a lot more recently. Look, they have an amazing winter time. I love snow, and we don't get snow here, and I like miss that so much. I love the holidays. And my mom just told me, well, I think there's one more snow and then it's over. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. I hate when it ends.
One more snow forever?
That's it. That's the last one.
God.
Pretty much, you get one and you're done.
I love extreme. I love like summer and I love winter. I hate those in betweens, like when snow starts melting and it's muddy. I'm like,
so like early spring and then late fall when you're getting the real cold rain.
But then when it's full winter or full summer, I'm like, I love this.
Interesting.
I guess I was always fascinated with kind of being on camera or on stage or performing. Like I was in bands with my high school friends, and some of those guys are still in bands now and doing great and touring and putting records out, and it's cool. I guess comedy and like writing and acting was always something I was massively interested in, and didn't know, if you live in a city that doesn't really have that, you don't know what to do or like how that happens. And so in college at Xavier, I one day saw a flyer that said sketch comedy and improv auditions whatever night, and I was like, all right, sure, I'll do that. Nice. I mean, I loved the Upright Citizens Brigade TV show. Nick and I, my brother and I, were like obsessed with that. We loved Saturday Night Live forever, Kids in the Hall, any kind of sketch comedy ever. And I thought, I don't know how these people do. It's just on a TV. They obviously have trained or learned or something. How does this happen? And I just went to these auditions, it was like short form improv, which I had seen Whose Line Is It Anyway, you know?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is pretty fun. And then I got cast in it, and I did it for the year. And then I started like looking more into like my hero was like Chris Farley or Amy Poehler. Like these are my heroes, you know? And I thought, okay, did they do short form improv? And then I discovered, no, they did the Herald. They learned from Del Close. They were at IO, Improv Olympics, Second City. And I was like, okay, well, I want to do that, you know? And so I found out that the UCB for it opened their own improv theater. Like this is me just discovering things, and you know, I don't know. I have no friends who do this.
No, absolutely. Did you have this phenomenon? And I swear I'll let you talk eventually. Did you have this phenomenon where you discover how absolutely unfunny you are on your first improv class?
Oh man, oh god,
it is nothing less funny than 101 improv at UCB.
Well, I discovered that quickly. I have like a presence and kind of a charisma, and I can get away with a little bit. But then when it's like, okay, what else you got? Just freeze. Like, oh, that thing didn't work. That funny thing I said doesn't work a second time in improv. Oh shit!
Yeah,
you know, you have to actually learn. So then I started spending summers in Chicago, staying with my friend's family and going to IO Improv Olympic and just like learning long form. And I remember texting my friends in the short form group. I was like, we're done. We're not doing games anymore. It's about scene work. I'm going to teach you guys the Herald. Like I'm going to I was like the what do you call the guy who brought the fire down, Prometheus?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'm bringing this back to you. And then we spent the next 3 years doing long form Tuesday nights at Xavier. And we had a fun, like, underground group of people who just come and watch it, and they wanted to be part of it. And a few teams. It was so fun. It was so fun.
That's badass. Long form improv is not for the faint of heart. We've never graduated past short form. So games are the only thing that we hold on to.
I'm sorry if that was offensive.
No, I
didn't mean it that way.
We literally know that we are not cut out for heralds. For those who don't know at home, a herald is a type of long form improv comedy. It's like capitalized by having it's almost like a never ending scene, but you're building off of each other. But you need to know when cues are important for, like, you know, people transitioning in and out and remembering what they're doing, coming back around to it.
Remembering all the different characters you've played.
Yeah, I have obviously not done it, so there's more nuance to it. Well, I've done it a couple times, and it's crash and burn. I never want to relive those memories again. I find that YouTube, where I'm able to edit things, is much more my speed. But what's your favorite part about Herald versus short form?
I kind of felt like Mad Libs is the games. Mm-hmm. And again, if people are watching this and love doing short form or watching short form, awesome, cool. I will watch it and laugh and I'll join in. But I love that it's just a blank canvas and you can just go out there with absolutely nothing, and somehow you and someone else are going to build an entire universe. Or maybe it's just a room, whatever, but it's so exciting.
Absolutely. It's a great way to get writing going. It's it's a skill for going off into any other discipline that has to do with entertainment, I think, anyway. I think acting a lot of actors could benefit with taking improv classes just for reading your partner. There's people that are big on the Meisner method that are like, oh, it's all about that bounce. It's like, there's no tighter drum to bounce off of than a good improv artist, like someone really trained in that. Do you think that, I swear I'll let you talk. Yeah, just why don't you go get?
I'll just sit here, drink my water.
Sure. I just love this chain of events here, is because, do you think, and I'm sure you've been asked this before, that the improv helped with, say, professional wrestling and then your comedy?
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, when I was going through this like buzzing hyper obsession with improv all throughout college, my brother had begun wrestling for WWE. And he was living in Louisville, sorry.
We've had a few friends go down to Louisville.
And then I was in Cincinnati, and he would have, he was at Ohio Valley Wrestling, which was WWE's developmental program. So he would have TV on Wednesday nights there. So I would often take my buddies. I played rugby in college too. So I would take them and drive down on Wednesday to go watch him wrestle, then drive back. I saw pro wrestling in a small setting that wasn't quite an indie show like I'd seen in Cleveland, and it wasn't quite, SmackDown. It was a couple hundred people in the Davis Arena in Kentucky, and you would see brand new people. You'd see people who had been around and were down there again, but they were putting on this wrestling show every week that was compelling, like a soap opera, but it didn't have the giant pyro and huge circusy stadium feel of a big WWE show. I think it dawned on me. I didn't want to admit it, and I was trying to fight it because I'm like, no, I'm on this path of comedy and writing, and like, felt like I want to do this, but I always felt this other hand pulling me like, no, go wrestle with your brother, just do this. I felt like I had this fork in the road, like, which one are you gonna do? And then when I was done with school, I chose comedy. I moved to Chicago. I was like, I can't do that. Right when I got there, I started to feel like I made the wrong move. I recall one day I was like, I think Nick was in town for SmackDown, and we met up after the show, and I was like, I think I want to wrestle or at least give it a shot. Like, what's the move here? And he was like, all right, if you're serious, here's a game plan we can have if you want to try it. See if you're cut out for it, And he's not someone who's like, well, I'll bring you in. You do your own thing and prove yourself. Then I'll consider maybe helping you, because once I got into it, I'm like, oh yeah, anyone that asks me for help, I'm like, do it on your own first, then I'll vouch for you. There's, but I came to my girlfriend's house one day, Smoker Molly, I call her. She smoked a lot, but her name is Hello Molly. I think you're probably having a nice life somewhere with a family. Well, in college, I didn't come up with that. There was a few Mollies in college, and to distinguish, you give nicknames like New York Pete, Smoker Molly, whatever.
Yeah.
So I came. She worked nights as a nurse, and I walked into her house one day, and I was like, hey, I think we should have a pretty serious talk. And she said, you're going to move out of Chicago and go wrestle with your brother, aren't you? And I was like, oh, all right. I guess we don't really have to have a talk here. You for sure nailed it. I think it was just apparent that I was like being pulled in that direction,
or she was psychic.
She possibly was.
Is that how Smoker Molly talks?
It's a raspy voice. It's a very nice voice. She's a lovely human, and again, I'm sure she has a lovely family and kids and stuff now. But a raspy voice, a smoker voice,
gotcha.
Smoky voice.
Yes.
What am I doing here?
No. I'm gonna allow him to give you a reason to ramble now.
The interesting part is you talked about playing rugby at Xavier, but like, what was your early beginnings that kind of led you into the athleticism and sport life, like as a kid? Because I did read that something about you saying you were really shy, but now you're more extroverted and
I was very
energetic.
shy. Where is this at? Where are you reading this?
Oh, plenty of stuff. Articles online, man. I do research.
I was mortified to speak to anybody. I was so shy up until probably 6th grade. Did I say 6th grade? 6th grade. The 60.
We'll edit it. We'll make it sound correct. Don't worry. We'll make you look good.
And that's the magic of improv, is mispronouncing words. Well, I started skateboarding, and I befriended Chris Hart and Tom Beckner and Tim Gill also. These are my main friends back then. And they were like obnoxious, loud, not shy kids. And I was maybe the shy one, who liked to draw pictures and write things. And I think they helped bring me out of my shell. And yeah, dude, I can't believe you said I was shy. I was so shy, like so shy.
Yeah, it was like your friends were big into punk rock. You started skateboarding with them.
Yeah, and I just developed a personality, I guess. But some people do ask, like, oh, are you like, you and your brother, like very boisterous and loud and outgoing? Well, he was. I wasn't really. And also when you have an older brother who is this focus of the family and social attention all the time, I just was like, I'll develop other ways to get people to think I'm cool. I'll draw little pictures or write stories or something.
Yeah.
And my brother was the same way. My brother, not to go too deep into me, but my brother, he was an artist and super shy. And I was also extremely shy. But it was weird because growing up, he kind of outshied me. So I was like, I have to at least do something. And I didn't want to talk to anybody. I barely talked. I'm shocked I had friends growing up. I was stunned when I landed a high school girlfriend. I was like,
that's awesome. Congrats, man.
Thanks. Thank you. I peaked in high school.
Well, high school's hard, man.
Dude, I was so floored because every relationship I had up until like I was 22 was because the girl asked me out. And that's because I'm so handsome and so unbelievably charismatic. I know, right? But I was stunned. I couldn't believe anybody wanted to talk to me, but it took me a very long time to come out of my shell. And it was really, people probably wouldn't believe because I've been doing YouTube for 14 years now, but I was just like, the last person to talk in high school was me. I just couldn't even imagine doing any kind of public speaking or anything.
Well, I remember like wrestling. I saw you wrestled and did band in high school as well, but that's how Mark and I met, was through wrestling. I have always been more of an extroverted person, so I kind of we were in and around the same weight class. We'd practice wrestling against each other all the time. And so at meets, like I would talk to Mark and eventually he would talk, and said some of the funniest things I remember from like 7th and 8th grade wrestling about what was going on and things like that. So
it's a formative time, junior high, man. It's almost like more than high school, like kind of just setting you off in some kind of personality direction, I think.
Well, then puberty hits like a truck at that time, and then it suddenly changes. Because I used to be a little flabby as a kid, and then thankfully my dad's muscles came through for me. The German side really, like suddenly I was like, oh, what happened to me? Oh God, my voice, that kind of situation. But
I think there's nothing like amateur wrestling that no matter how long you do it for, if you do it for a season or for 10 years or up until you're 25 or whatever, it gives you this power to do anything. The discipline is so wild.
It's incredible the kind of crazy workouts that happen in wrestling.
It's talking stunning. Like the Olympic style wrestling, right?
Yeah. A high school practice at St. Edward High School, shout out Eagles, is harder than anything I've ever done in NXT or college rugby or anything. Like that was hard. That was hard, man.
I have that where you and your brother were talking about that it was like that practice was harder than anything you
just
guys
the
have
hardest ever. Yeah. And I remember when I had my tryout week for WWE, they do this man in the middle drill. I don't know what they do now, but back then Dr. Tom Pritchard was in charge, and I think I was in the ring for 37 minutes straight while just other people came in and wrestled and did drills. It was hard, but afterward, I thought, like, well, St. Ed's practice was harder than that. That was hard, but like, you're just dying as a 15-year-old. You don't see the sun. Like, you go to school before it's Cleveland, like it's dark out in the winter. You don't leave until practice is over. You eat one lunch. You're wrestling for 3 hours straight. It's so crazy.
Well, and they crank up the heat in the wrestling room too.
Yeah.
So.
Walk in with sweats, and then you just like
walk out in the freezing cold. Yeah.
Oh, that's why I quit.
Yeah,
after freshman year.
I lasted
done.
Until junior year, finished junior, and then I was done. And then they were trying to pull me back for a match at the end of the season.
There was too many competitive people. Like my next door neighbor, his name was Colby, and he went on to win state. Yeah. And it's just like, I can't. I don't want to compete with that. It was like, I liked him, so I was like, I don't want.
My entire team was like, it was so packed with people. They won, I don't know, they probably won 35 state tournaments at this point. They're just so good. And they had 3 varsity teams. I never even cracked the top one because it's just loaded, man. There's just the best wrestler ever in that part of the state is just there.
Well, look at them now. They're
not in LA. They're not
wrestling.
Making movies or acting or doing comedy shows.
Yeah. I think they're so good with their trophies.
They don't have a cool podcast.
Well, then I also remember like the value you put on people then. Like I thought Ryan Lang was like the coolest kid ever, the best wrestler I've ever met, and he thought I was cool, and I'm like, okay, cool, man. I'm like, I was still a little shy in high school. I don't know.
Well, how much we like all desired to be popular back then, just to have people like notice us. I don't know if you felt that, but
oh god, yeah. But it was like the universe conspired to make me as uncool as possible, especially with girls. I had no. This is why it was such a shock when I had. Let me tell you a story. I don't even know if I told you.
It's so sad what you said.
No, it is. It's so true because I don't know if I've ever told you this story. I was one day it's burned into my brain because it's so embarrassing, and it was walking out of some class, and I was just I was in a fugue state as you are, just carrying books, looking down towards the ground, and I didn't realize that there was these 2 girls walking in front of me. And it was like this thing where it looked like I was staring at their ass the whole time. But I swear I was not, right?
You've told me this story. It was in the cheerleading episode.
Oh, was it? And then they turn around and they start doing this over the shoulder. I don't notice it, kind of out of the corner of my eye. And then they just turn around and they confront me. And they're just like, stop looking at our asses. And I'm like, I swear, I was just thinking about anything else. I was looking, I was saying nothing. It was like the most embarrassing
And no disrespect, I would, but I wasn't. I
was right ass, really, truly, but no. No, so I was officially like word spread that I was checking out girls, and I'm like, I wasn't, but I would, but I can't, and then nothing, never. So
I didn't. I was all boys. My school had no girls at all.
Really?
So like, if there's ever a teacher who is a woman, you just think she's the hottest ever, just because she's the only human female you see at all, all week.
Yeah.
Or Mrs. Thompson in the art department. Sorry.
Oh, we had a Mrs. Thompson. She taught
the same Mrs.
geography.
Thompson?
No.
Wow.
No, Miss Thompson, she was doing stats for water polo, and she was horrible at stats. We all did not like her. But the thing is, you had girlfriends in high school. I didn't date anyone until...
I had girlfriend.
Well, okay, I dated one person for like 3 months.
What was her name? Shout out.
Morgan.
Morgan, what's up?
Smoking Morgan?
No, not Smoking
Morgan. Morgan, we hope you're well. We wish you well.
Artistic Morgan.
What kind of art?
I think she does art therapy now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
so I met her going on a trip with Venture Crew for junior year of high school going into senior year. And we went backpacking in New Mexico. She was with the one group and I was with a different group.
You are at probably a point in your career where you have accomplishments, accolades. Like I'm obviously getting to this point in my career where I realize that I'm getting a little old to be a YouTuber. Now, I'm not too old. There's plenty of older YouTubers. I know I'm not at the end of my career. I'm not having a crisis. I swear. I'm not.
The more you say it.
It's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm talking about our guest. Do you feel like you have accomplished what you set out to accomplish at this point in your life? Do you feel, even with all the accolades and the accomplishments and being a professional wrestler and comedian, do you feel like at this point in your life you're where you want to be? Because I like to ask, because the reason I ask this is because there's always a mountain to climb, right? And I was fortunate/unfortunate enough in my YouTube career to kind of peak that mountain. I wanted to be a big YouTuber. And then I reached that peak and I fell into a depressive state because I had achieved my goal. And it took me a very long time to reconcile the fact that it was the climb up the mountain that really made me happy.
Yeah,
so
it's the journey, not the destination.
Where on that mountain are you today? Have you reached a peak in your life where you had to look back and look around and find a new mountain to climb? Are you in the middle of the climb?
I didn't know that I was going to be on any of these mountains. What you guys both just said about the journey and all that reminds me of when I was training in Ohio Valley Wrestling with, Rip Rogers and Jim Cornette and Danny Davis. Rip Rogers said one time, because everyone just wants to get signed by WWE at that point. I mean, that was the main company. It's still the main company. I mean, of course, now TNA is doing great and AEW is up there. But basically then it was like WWE or bust, And he said, yeah, some of you will get there and it's going to be great. You'll make some money and travel the world and stuff. But it won't be fun and you won't enjoy it. This is what you're going to enjoy. Sleeping at each other's houses, being poor, sharing everything, and then wrestling for no money, basically. This is fun. You might not know it now. And he's totally right, man. That whole, any part that I look at was on the way to somewhere else was always the fun, awesome part, But I've done some pretty incredible things that I'm grateful for. I say when people are like asking about wrestling, I'm like, I pinned Jeff Hardy. Literally pinned one of my childhood heroes in front of my dad with my brother, won a championship with my brother in front of a sold out LA hometown thing. It was so amazing.
Yeah, it was a tag team championship.
Championship, yeah, at Rebellion and at the Galen Center, USC. Is that the basketball arena? That is not a mountain I thought I was heading for at any point in my life. Wrestling Jeff Hardy, the Hardys, ever. Yeah. But it's almost like I'm pushing towards this other track that in my mind is like this artistic, performing, writing, acting based thing, comedy. But also I'm like wrestling at the same time because it's my day job and I happen to have found this niche role where people hate me so much. And then when I'm paired up with my brother, which that's the only reason I really want to start wrestling was to travel around with my brother, Yeah. And they love him so much that they just hate that I'm doing that too. Like I brought my new merch, Little Brother Energy.
Where can they find that merch?
TNAmerch.com.
Oh, wow.
And they hate that the company gave me merch. Like it's nice that I found this niche in wrestling and I really value it and I love it. But I do feel this there is this pull in my soul that's always yanking me before it was yanking me towards wrestling. But the nice thing about TNA is that they're very cool. It's if you have acting jobs or things come up, just let us know. Your gimmick is the Hollywood Hunk, so it makes sense, Yeah,
because you've been in wrestling since 2010 when you won the promotion's first ever breakout competition.
You got the damn dude.
Went to WWE in 2011, facing Big E Langston, and debut on June 26, 2011.
This is for the audience's benefit too. I obviously know all this as well. Encyclopedia up here.
I love that fact that he debuted against Big E, which I had other matches, but that was the first regional FCW TV show match I had. Big E's awesome, but it's so funny to hear those called out that way. It's all technically accurate, but I don't know.
Were you Briley Pierce?
Hot young Briley Pierce, baby. Yeah.
It is a thing where it's like the way people give a retrospective of your accomplishments or literally your life is never as accurate as being there. The struggles that they focus on is never really the struggles that you had when you were in the middle of it.
Oh, of course.
And it's like they paint a completely different picture, just as interesting, but it's like it's just not quite
like this whole entire other thing was going on, and meanwhile, hey, can you wrestle Big E tonight real fast? He needs a match. Okay, sure. Yeah. Your debut is against Big E. And it's true. That literally was true. But I'm like, I wasn't like a thing I was thinking about. But
that is
true.
Think about it at the time. You and Brad Maddox won the FCW Florida Tag Team Championship in 2011.
Yep.
And then went on the independent circuit in 2013 to present. Had your first match May 25th, 2013 at Florida Underground Wrestling Throwdown 3. Defeating Jesse Neal.
Now this I don't even know. Oh, Jesse Neal. Yeah, that was a fun match. That was a cool match. I like that match. Yeah.
And then you won the DDT Ironman Heavy Metalweight Championship, defeating Bunny the Cat.
I pinned a feline.
Yeah.
Yes. This Japanese promotion DDT has some.
Wait, what was it called? Let me look at a picture of it.
DDT Ironman Heavy Metalweight Championship.
So this title was, in fact, I lost the title at a show at Second City. I think Taya Valkyrie pinned me after we were taking our bows. It's a title that can be defended anywhere, apparently by cats also. I pinned a cat.
Just pinned a cat.
It's kind of a funny thing, yeah.
Do you still enjoy it?
Wrestling?
Yeah.
Yes, very much.
Okay. It's never died for you?
Oh, it's died many times, but it's been massively reignited by TNA and working with my brother. Prior to coming to TNA, was unhappily set on it's over for me because some things went down and I just thought, this is not a business I really want to be a part of anymore if that's how it has to be. So I'll be honest with you, when an unnamed TNA head honcho was like, hey, what do you think about coming here and doing something? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of, there's a bad taste in my mouth about all of pro wrestling right now, and I kind of want to just live my life elsewhere. After a few months of repeatedly asking and then being like, I have this plan with you and your brother. It's a long-term thing. And I was like, and then Nick was kind of like, hey, this might be fun if you want to try it. And I was like, okay, let's try it. And I think Nick was also like, let's try it. He was never set on let's end up being a team.
Right.
But then things just kind of really started clicking, and our dynamic was kind of undeniable in this way that, like, we haven't wrestled together a lot at that point, but we've known each other and performed together and know each other, everything, it was very good chemistry. And then we just had to fill in the wrestling part. Like, all right.
Well, and your brother just re-signed with TNA last month.
Big deal. Yeah. Huge. Yeah. A lot of huge things happening with him and with TNA. We're on AMC now, which is incredible. A new amazing platform to be on Thursday nights. And he is just an amazing get for the company. I mean, he's a 20-year veteran from WWE, multi-time world champion. He's held every title there. He's wrestled every star you can think of, main evented pay-per-views and TV, and what a guy to have for TNA,
and that's your tag team partners.
Yeah, it's great.
As someone who doesn't, growing up, I didn't watch wrestling. Even today, we've done an episode talking about wrestling, and I didn't go off and start watching it again. So the thing about this show that's interesting is there's a lot of people that watch the show that aren't really sports viewers of any type. They might watch the Olympics, and have you been watching the Olympics?
As much as I possibly can.
I mean, I didn't realize curling was that riveting. I was glued to curling.
How about the Canadian guy with the finger?
Oh man, is it cheating or is it not?
I think figure skating this year needed more attention. The figure skating this year was incredible.
That last performance was just so
the
good.
Best. And then she said the F word in the camera.
I loved it.
That was so cool. Yeah.
And then the hockey games were just so unbelievable. Anyway, we've never covered hockey before on the show.
That's a lot.
We've never covered. But if you had to pitch why people at home should watch professional wrestling, because there's a lot of people that have opinions about it. They hear one thing about it, they like, oh, it's fake, oh, it's all rigged, whatever. Cutting through all of the preconceived notion, if you had to talk straight to fans of why it matters that it exists, that people do wrestle, that the entertainment value that people get out of it, why it's important, why you think they should watch it.
If you can watch it and appreciate that you're watching a TV show about a TV show, you will have a lot of fun. There's characters that you will just be like, oh my God, she sucks, I hate her. Yeah, you're supposed to hate her. That's good.
Yeah.
It's like watching a soap opera or a movie, but there's also fighting involved. And the people who say it's fake, I will say, It's like being catfished. And I say this in my comedy act too. It's like, the person sending you these photos and these messages, that's not who you're talking to. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. It feels good.
Right, that's right.
And so when I get introduced to the ring, they say 6'2", come on, 220, blonde. Like, is that all true? No, but it feels good to think. Did that guy just really beat him in a match? I don't know, but it felt awesome when I saw him win. The music hit. It was cool,
Yeah.
The guy you want to win won, or the girl you hate lost. It's great, If you enjoy movies, TV shows, cartoons, or books, you'll probably like wrestling if you just watch it. Give it a half hour. Or go see it live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed that all of the friends I've met here who aren't wrestling friends in Los Angeles, who aren't wrestling fans, when they go to see a show that I'm in or my brother's in or whatever, they will often go, "Oh, I get it. Okay, it's awesome. It's crazy. It's like live theater, but with way more physical action."
Well, and the crazy stunt shows and everything that's been going on, like the coordination. I mean, it's some of it is planned, but other stuff, it's like, hey, I'm going to kind of signal you that I'm going to do this thing. You need to be ready for it so it don't hurt you, kind of thing.
How much is it? Is it between improv and planned? I don't want to peer behind the curtains too much, but
I mean, I'll tell you, this has been talked about at great length for a while now, but a portion of it must be hopefully planned ahead of time, because there's just, if you think about it, there's a lot of cameras and there's a literal TV network with commercial breaks and minutes. Is someone just going to fight as long as they can? Probably not, because there's a whole schedule of things that have to happen afterwards, and we need to show the ads at some point. So some of it is literally planned. But what's happening in between the finish and the beginning, a lot of that is ad libs or improvised. And it depends wrestler to wrestler. Some people like every single thing planned out. Some people like to have as little as possible planned out. Some people will try to plan things out and then just go off the rails. And that's, there's every combination of that you can imagine. And when you add not just 2 people, but maybe it's a tag team match of 4 people and a ref, there's like so many, you just got to be ready for anything, basically. Yeah. You might go into a match thinking, I have 11 minutes and this is what's going to happen. And then the ref says, hey, you actually have 9 minutes.
Because we're running behind.
Yeah, and the finish is different. Now you're winning or something. You just got to be like, all right, play it cool, and then figure it out and communicate physically with a guy across the ring and make it happen. So I say bravo to anyone who's a pro wrestler at any level, because it is so damn hard and insane and crazy. And you got to worry about where the cameras are, and you got to worry about the fans hitting your times, not permanently injuring your opponent or yourself.
Yeah.
They're amazing artists.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like what you were saying, is like almost every movie that anyone's watched, besides like Free Solo or something like that, is fake. It's just it's a play. It's all a play. It's theater. And so when you have TV shows and soap operas, whether they're written beforehand or whether it's just like an actual improv event or a live concert, like it's planned, but it's all quote unquote fake. But in this one, you're putting your bodies on the line every time you go out there.
And there's only one take, and everyone's watching, and all 360 all around you.
Which is crazy when you think about it. I think it's such a detrimental take to say like, oh, it's pre-planned ahead of time. It's like, oh, of course it is. Exactly what you were saying.
Well, there's safety reasons. You don't want to hurt the other person. You're not worried just about yourself. You're worried about the person you're doing the stunt with and other bystanders if you're in tag team. I mean, there's stuff going on all the time.
And they're trying to entertain. Like that's the whole thing. Is like it's supposed to be entertaining, and the fact that it works almost every night is incredible. So kudos to anybody that does it. Of course.
And I'll say even I had this today when I was driving. I was thinking a lot about when I've done things with other wrestlers in settings that aren't wrestling. Like for example, WWE had this show called Swerved that I wrote on, where we would take wrestlers and prank people out in the wild. It was with Jeff Tremaine and Gorilla Flicks people, the Jackass guys. And
is that why I found a video of you like interrupting a wedding?
That is different. That's different.
Oh, interesting.
But that kind of style of a thing.
Okay.
But I would be often, I guess in the last 10 years, I've been around in a lot of scenarios where there's a stunt coordinator who's not familiar with pro wrestling, and then pro wrestlers working together, whether it was me or someone else with the stunt coordinator. And I remember a specific time on Swerved where a great resume stunt coordinator in Hollywood was like, so I want you to throw a punch across his face. You're not going to cut, not going to hit him, but the camera will make it look like you hit him. And then the Miz just went, I know how to throw a fake punch. And I just thought, like, of course he does, because he's been doing it for 15 years in front of thousands of people with cameras on all sides and people on all sides. And sometimes the punch has to hit, like a few spots I did in TNA this year where I would come out and interrupt a match and JBL punched me in the face and people like, oh, it looked real. I'm like, it was real. The guy punched me in the face. It sucked, but we couldn't risk doing a phony punch with that many cameras and that many people. It's the only focus, and there's people standing 5 feet away who are in the front row. Like, you got to hit me,
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to get hit, and that's not happening in your movies you're watching.
Isn't there a thing in wrestling called receipts where if you screw something up, somebody gets you back and actually makes contact?
Maybe. I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes. Can you mention any sometimes?
I remember when I was in Louisville, first learning to wrestle, I missed a phone call from Cliff Compton, who was Domino in WWE. I just missed his call, and then I called him back, and he didn't answer, and he texted back, "That's your receipt." I was like, and then we talked, and he's like, so there is some people have that old school thing of like, oh, you stiffed me on a punch, well, I'm gonna get you back later.
It's funny is I don't have tons of experience with like stunts and stuff, but in the latest project I did a lot of my own stunts, and one of them was a fun one where the whole set's on a motion control rig, right? So I'm padded up and I tumbled to the right, I go over a chair and I hit it hard. I bent this metal chair in half. It didn't hurt at all then, but I got up and I was like, my back's to the camera. So I'm like, oh shit, it's broken. I got to really sell this one. So the next one, I go right into this like corner with like a metal wall. And so I'm like, I got to make it look good. I hit it so hard that I actually hurt my back. I hit it right above my pad and I go down to the ground and I'm like, oh man, but it looks so good. And I show it to some friends of mine and they're like, yeah, wow. That, I wish you would have made that scene look more real. And I'm like, motherfucker, I actually hurt myself doing that. Yeah. It's like, so people probably assume things are fake when it's like, no, I got punched. No, that hurt.
All the time.
It was Wade, wasn't it?
I don't know who it was. They're not my friend anymore. That's what it was.
That's the end of the friendship. Some people describe punches in wrestling as, I remember like the people training me would be like, so how was the punches? And their phrase described as something like, looks like shit, hurt like hell. So like it doesn't even look like a good punch, but it nails you so hard, like what you're describing.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, that body slam kind of looked phony. I'm like, I got paralyzed. Like the guy killed me. So there is a fine art.
He didn't catch himself right with his arms.
There's an art of making it look devastating and then making it feel as least devastating as you can. But that you can't always do that. The worst thing is chops, man. Chops hurt so much. Or just a plain old body slam just hurts, man.
Like actual chops?
Yeah.
Getting just like slapped in the chest.
Oh.
Those
they
are
call
full
them chops,
contact. Yeah.
Okay.
They go pretty hard because they want you to get the red mark.
And the ones that don't have a big noise just hurt so bad.
Yeah.
So that's a great example right there where the crowd's like, oh, lame chop. And I'm like, can't breathe right now. It's so painful. It's all the fans watching at home. Sometimes when you think something looks phony, it's so painful. And the thing that looks so crazy might actually not be that bad.
Well, so when we covered this, I angered so many wrestling fans by saying that professional wrestling is not a sport because there is no competition in the sense of in the arena when there's something happening, it's already known who's going to win, whether the ref tells you or somebody told you beforehand. And so in that sense, I never saw it as true competition. And a lot of the action, while it does make contact and is very real in a lot of different cases, is also simulated to reduce injuries. Like somebody's not hurting you.
He thinks just because he has a master's degree in sports administration that he can have these opinions. He thinks chess is a sport.
I do not think chess is a sport. I said no, it's not a sport.
You said it was a sport.
I said the IOC says chess is a sport. I think it's not.
All right, well, who has the master's degree? You.
Me.
So how is he wrong and how do we hate him?
What is your take, actually, instead of his question?
Man, I do hate you.
Yep, that's good. Yeah, we all hate him. Right.
But we came into that.
We knew that.
That guy showed up.
He drove over here. I really
You watched
hate
the
that
episode.
guy.
You were one of the angry fans on the Reddit.
Wrestling's whatever you want it to be, man. It's for us doing it, I'll say I've been in a handful of matches where I find out who's winning as it's happening. Like I would go, I'm thinking of a match I had with John Moxley or Dean Ambrose back in Florida, and I think I'm losing, and then right as I think I'm about to get pinned, the ref goes, oh, actually, you're going over, and then he hears it too, and we switch the finish right there. Does that make a legitimate sport? No, it does. I mean, it's a show. It's a show that's happening so many nights a week that we can't beat each other's brains in like UFC people because what do they have? One fight a year or every two a year?
Maybe like 2 a year, if that.
We got to do this to entertain people so often that if you're going full go and trying to literally beat each other, just massive injury, like the show will be over a week later because everyone will be hurt. You know?
Not to mention that, like if you were actually hitting each other with like the crazy stuff that happens, and I know you do still make contact, like the chair hits are very real, table breaks, things like that, like. But full body slams from a high rope, like the crazy twisting acrobatics that are done, like you could snap somebody's neck.
Those last two things you named, you can't fake those. Those just
those just suck.
I'm usually on the receiving end of somebody flipping and landing on me, and that just sucks.
Yeah,
it really sucks, you know. But there's also amazing wrestlers, legit competitive wrestlers. Like think of Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar, my brother Nick Nemeth, Kurt Angle. Like these are championship. But Kurt Angle's an Olympic champion. I mean, this guy, if he wants, would just never have lost to anybody, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's a show that we're putting on, and you're cooperating with the referee, with the commentators, with cameramen. It's a spectacle. It's a show. It's a soap opera. It's a variety show, and it's fun as hell. Is it legitimately a sporting contest? I hope not, because I have lost so many matches. You know?
All right, so we're coming not quite at the end, but I want to skip ahead to the future of wrestling, because I'm not 100% sure where the landscape is right now. I know there's other YouTubers like Logan Paul jumped into the ring. I'm not sure is he still doing it?
He's still doing it. He actually had Tom Brady. I was going to ask you about this, where he was talking about NFL players and saying he could do what Saquon Barkley does. And Tom was like, no, NFL players and athletes are at a different level. Like what you do is great and it's acrobatic, but it is not the same athleticism.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know.
So there was actually like a whole thing in there, and so many people were just being like, yeah, it's Logan, you're wrong.
He's heard that before.
Yeah.
Sorry, Logan. But the future of the sport, do you think that it's healthy? Do you think that people, I mean, there's a lot of people out there and we want it to succeed, but the reality of where the future of television and entertainment changes from time to time. Do you think that the future of the sport is healthy? Do you think that you should, like a lot of people should still chase this dream? Is there still opportunities for people to get into the ring and have a career in there?
I would advise no one to become a professional wrestler. It is the hardest, most unreliable line of work to get into. But you're going to hear that and say, but I'll be the exception.
Yeah.
You won't. But maybe you will, because people age out and you need to have new wrestlers. You know?
John Cena, for example,
he just retired. John Cena, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He, someone has to be the new John Cena. I don't think it makes sense that I have ever made it in wrestling, but somehow I did. So hey, maybe you got a shot. You know, it's just so hard, and there's so few spots. You can wrestle around for not a job and just do that every weekend, and that's great. That's fun. I think the future of wrestling depends on the current crop of wrestlers, and it's booming right now. I mean, it's huge. AMC just took a risk on TNA, and the numbers are going great so far. We're a month in and we're doing wonderfully. There's 3 major companies. There's international. I mean, there's a huge wrestling market. Japan, in Mexico, England has some. I mean, there's every country. I think my brother just went to Italy and he's going to maybe South Korea or something. There's wrestling everywhere, dude.
That's awesome.
But WWE's expanding all the time. I think the future, as long as people want to see it, it's going to be there in some form, whether TV doesn't exist in a few years or not. You can still watch things everywhere. So whatever platform it'll be on.
I feel like it was the biggest when we were in high school, and then it's had its downturn, and then it's back on an upswing, which has been really cool to see because, I mean, some of the stuff that's happening with ownership change with WWE, which has been huge. It just seems like there's this rise in interest coming from a younger audience again that wasn't there before.
Yeah, I think that's true. For a while, I'm also remembering like when I first moved to LA, there was this like ironic interest in wrestling. Like, oh, let's combine burlesque with wrestling and do it in a theater. And like, yeah, I did those shows. I thought they were awesome. I loved it. It was cool. And you'd have what we used to call hipsters watching wrestling and going, yes, the fine, you don't understand the drama of the heel and the baby face. Whatever, it's fun. Just go watch it. It's great.
That's a healthy approach to it. I think that it probably falls in the same vein as like doing YouTube or I guess starting a podcast or whatever have you. There are so few spots at the top. But I think that if people focus so much on that, they will lose sight of the steps you need to take to get there.
Yes.
Yeah, because the hard work is always going to be there. And if you can't get comfortable in the uncomfortable nature of doing the hard work, you're never going to make it.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you eating potato chips, sitting on the couch watching this instead of chasing your dreams.
And I would say there's part of the ecosystem of wrestling is the fans and emotionally and passionately loving or hating someone. And this is all the people leaving comments about how you hate me. When you do that, you help me.
So keep doing it.
Keep doing it. When you say these horrible, horrible things about me, some of which I could never repeat without feeling like I'm going to go to hell for saying it, repeating what you said about me, that generates more interest and the company likes me more. So thank you for that. But, it makes you feel a certain way. You love John Cena, you hate whoever, that all combines into it. It helps in a way that's uniquely wrestling, I think, and maybe YouTube also.
Since you are writing also, are you working towards any project outside of the ring right now? Are you trying to get a script underway?
Yes. I have wrestling specific. I've been am developing a little a horror comedy starring my brother and I with Josh Forbes and a couple other guys. It's not secret. I'm allowed to say that if I want.
So it's your project.
But I describe it in respectfully as Evil Dead meets the Iron Claw. And I want to make this movie so bad, dude.
Well, and you acted in the Iron Claw.
I was in the Iron Claw, yes.
You were
Gino Hernandez.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've directed a movie or one. Pitch me. Come on. Come on. Pitch me. What you got? Give me.
I'll send you the deck.
Oh, that's even better than pitch. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Do you think that the pipeline from wrestler to movie star actually it's not robust, but I feel like there are more than one.
Oh, I love this question.
Yeah.
I love it's viable, it's possible, but I've seen so many times. This is where I hope no one in wrestling from the past listens to this, but whatever, you'll know. Some people will think, well, I've cut promos on TV and wrestling, so therefore I should just be cast in movies. They're different, man.
Yeah.
They're different.
Mm-hmm.
The same way that a wrestler can't tomorrow go join the NFL. Literally, you can't. Okay, you just can't. There's levels of people playing their whole lives. The teams know who they want when these kids are 15. You can't just suddenly join the NFL.
It's also just different skill sets.
Way different skill sets. It's a whole different thing. And I take them all very seriously. I've taken wrestling very seriously. I've taken acting and writing very seriously. I'm always involved in an acting class. You gotta just realize it's two different things. Cutting a promo does not make you an actor. Hey, every wrestler ever. Being good at promos on TV doesn't mean you're an actor. It means you're great at promos on TV. That is one kind of acting. That's one kind of performing. That's one kind of generating interest in the product, and it's amazing, and you're great at that. But it doesn't necessarily mean you can just show up on a set and be handed acting roles. The people who have done that and done really great, John Cena, The Rock, Batista, they have diligently trained and pursued a different form of performing and excelled at it. And you don't get that good just by showing up,
Yeah.
It's not like you're at this level in wrestling, so you jump over here. You can try, but most people making movies don't know who the fuck you are if you're a wrestler. So, and that in a wrestler's mind, you have to have this ego. You will not survive unless you have a crazy, insane ego. Everyone has it in wrestling, whether you want to display it or not. It's up to you. And so to get that little rejection feels like, oh, all right, well, Hollywood sucks anyways. I'm going, it's a different thing. You just have to be humble, start from scratch, be vulnerable, go to an acting class, learn, realize that 20-year-olds who've been acting their whole lives will teach you something, and you just have to accept that's how it goes.
That's such a healthy outlook to look at it, because a lot of people do miss that. They just think that their work put in, which is credible work put in, incredible, like hard work. It's not the same work. You got to do it over again. You got to start over so many times before you'll get to the point where you actually can succeed at something. And
you'll get the cameos. Someone's just going to throw you in because they like wrestling. That'll happen. But a meaningful role you can actually sink your teeth into and make it your life and make it something that's worth something in the world of art and film and cinema and being interesting to people and affecting their lives. You got to start from the bottom and just build yourself into something new and learn a new skill, just like when you started wrestling, you know?
Beautifully said.
You've done a lot of different things with comedy, writing, acting, and wrestling. What was it that you think within yourself that drives you to kind of pursue all of these different things? And what keeps them important to you? What makes you passionate about them?
Oh, man, that's good. And sometimes I'll forget these things. In the monotony of life and flying and going and doing the shows and whatever, those kind of things, I just become numb and you're like just going through the motions. But again, on the way here, I was really thinking about my whole life. I think whatever exists beyond our physical world, I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a god or a spiritual thing or some science I don't understand. But there's some reason that I'm alive and some reason that I have this bizarre set of skills or qualities or something. And I just think I'm going to die at some point. I want to blossom or something or do as much as I can before that happens. And I want that to affect people in a positive way. And if it is hating me online, that's okay because it gives you a little pleasure. But if it is making you laugh, that's even better. If it's just being part of someone else's project that I'm just a little fixture in that is meaningful to someone, that altogether, I think, is what it's all about.
That's beautifully said. Yeah, I think that's a commonality in a lot of people that I've met that have achieved success in their various fields is the understanding of their own mortality is kind of part of the driving force.
Chasing you.
Yeah, it's always chasing you. It's always going to be there. It's guaranteed. So you got to do whatever you can in the limited time that you have to make sure it's worth it. And I think that is something that a lot of people, I'm really wise.
But it's like a Christmas Carol. You're like, that's my favorite.
Yeah, he's Ebenezer Scrooge.
You feel that, yeah. I mean, really, the death is coming for us all. It is. Final destination, bloodlines.
Yeah.
But it really is, and there's a limited time, and I'm so grateful to have been born at some point where I was allowed to do these things, and it's awesome. You got to do it or else you'll die.
That's fantastic.
And if you're bench pressing, if you can't lift, just think like, if I don't make this lift, my whole family died. You got to get, like that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
super rad. You know.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
I definitely know.
Yeah,
my whole family's died. I'm just kidding.
He failed that one bench press, and man, they all died. But anyway,
it's irrational, but you got to do it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's fantastic. Where could people find you outside of the shows? Don't
find me. Just don't. Leave me alone, man.
All right, okay.
But online, Ryan Nemeth on every platform. RYNEM. But we're on AMC now, TNA, Thursday nights, 9/8 Central. And by the time this comes out, I think we're hitting Cleveland and Syracuse live. So come to those shows. It's very fun. Come see the Nemeth brothers live at TNA.
Also in their hometown.
In the hometown. We come back to Cleveland.
Huge.
Yeah. And as you heard, the more negativity he gets, the better, higher his paycheck is. So
yeah, they pay me more. Yeah.
No one's better at a smear campaign than our audience. So I want to see memes of this guy's face, all the negativity you can.
Positive helps too, okay?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you can like me if you want.
No, it doesn't. We've made it very clear. The more slander possible, the higher he gets paid.
You can make fun of his massive spray tan because that was a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in Iron Claw, you had too much spray tan.
Now, how did you know that one? Where is this printed?
Where do you get your information?
I just have my sources.
I went on set and I was sent back to makeup.
They had to put green on
They had to mist me with green to neutralize the tan. I was too tan. It was messing up the cameras. And I remember I texted Trent Beretta, my best friend in wrestling, and I said, they are painting me with green paint because my tan is too red, and he thought it was so funny.
That is really funny.
They had to neutralize me.
For sure. Well, because it is the namesake of the podcast, go my favorite sports team. I do want you to see if maybe there is a sports team that you're a big fan of that you root for. Maybe it's from Cleveland, maybe it's from somewhere else, or maybe a favorite athlete.
Xavier basketball, the Musketeers. Let's go. Let's go X. Let's go X. Let's go
I can get behind that. I mean, I never actually visited Xavier, but I drove by it all the time, and it always looked nice.
Nice place.
Yeah. Nice place. Yeah.
UC rivalry in basketball, though.
I've heard. I was not a sports guy in college, so I don't know anything about that. So it's all good in my book.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's awesome.
It's been a fantastic conversation. Go check out Ryan everywhere you can find him. For us, store.gmfst.com. You can get some merch, but also make sure and go and get Ryan's merch over on
Little
the
Brother
TNA
Energy.
website.
I'm a little otter on this shirt. Looks like Teddy Long, I've been told.
Do you get a cut of that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah. If I didn't, I wouldn't be advertising.
Well, and then we have a Reddit for you guys to go ahead and spread all of those memes and all those things on it. Reddit.com/r/GMFST. Post all of that. But thank you again so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
And,
Appreciate it.
That'll do it for us.
Abby, bye.
Bye.